Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for attending this Kickoff Open Forum to start preparing our Tequesta Master Plans Parks. So I just would like first to introduce, one second, I will grab my, okay, there it is. It's working. First step. We got it right. Yes. So I would like to introduce myself. My name is Nilsa Zacharias. I'm the Community Development Director for the Village of Tequesta. I am a certified urban planner for the American Institute of Planning. And we have today with us our mayor, Mr. Frank Diambra. We also have with us our village manager, Mr. Jeremy Allen, and our very well-known Parks and Rec Director, Mr. Greg Corbett. So everybody knows Greg. And of course, we have our Public Works, Doug Chambers. Thank you, Doug, for being here and putting together everything. So one of the first things that I really would like to address, why are we doing this? So that's a very important question. And it's paramount before we start putting together a parks master plan to listen to each of you. Not only to you, to the needs of your family. How do you use the parks? How often do you go to the parks? What are your ideas to improve the parks? Because nobody knows better than you yourself, because you are the user, you are the residents, and you are part of this community. So I just want to stress how important is your input. And it's extremely important to understand the needs of the resident in order to prepare a long-term strategy and funding plan to improve our parks. How come we are going to sit in our desk and prepare these strategies without understanding how do you use the parks? What is your vision for example, Remembrance Park, for Tequesta Parks? We truly need to understand the community and the residents. And that's the reason I put together this slide, because this plan, the keystone of this plan will be the vision of each of the residents. It's paramount. So I put together a number of slides, and you already know these parks. You know, this is our famous Constitution Park. It's located in the heart of our community, and I'm sure you visit very often. This is Tequesta Parks. So it's a 42-acre park that is owned by the state of Florida. And in fact, as you know, it's on County Line Road. And in fact, it's in Martin County. It's not even in Palm Beach County. The village maintains and operates this park for the enjoyment of all of you in the surrounding areas. I took these photos last Friday afternoon, and it was beautiful. Let me tell you, I walked around all this trail. It was actually a great exercise all around here, all of them. And there is a beautiful, I call it nature trail, and I found, you know, turtles and all kind of creatures, and was very enjoyable. So we also have a linear park. And the linear park runs parallel to Old Dixie. I'm sure you go there walking alone or walking with your dog, doing exercise. And in fact, during the pandemic last year, I saw many people using the linear park because many of the parks were closed. So this was very handy to have a linear park. It's owned by the Florida East Coast Railroad and maintained by the village of Tequesta. We also have our beautiful village green, which is right here in our doorsteps, and I'm very sure you have attended many events, 9/11 and many other events. And I want to take an opportunity to talk about Remembrance Park. This is a vacant site. It's a vacant lot owned by the village. It's located on Seabrook Road. And part of this process will be to actually do conceptual designs for that park based on the visions and the needs of the residents. We also recently have a banyan tree open space. So we want to hear, what would you like to see on this banyan tree open space? You want to see benches, or you want to see a little tot lot? You know, these are ideas. It's a vision for the future to put together a long-term strategy. I included Coral Cove Park. It's not owned by Tequesta, it's owned by Palm Beach County and is maintained by Palm Beach County. However, as seen on the map, is within our boundaries. So Coral Cove Park is by the ocean and is very well visited. This area is an amazing area. I don't know if you had the opportunity to visit. It's a 50-acre natural area. It's owned by the federal government, by the U.S. Department of Interior. It's a natural area and has amazing natural habitats. And again, we don't own it, we don't maintain it. However, it's within our village boundaries, and that's the reason we are looking at it. So all those parks that we don't own or we don't operate, the reason will be included as part of this master plan is because we want to listen if you have any ideas, and then we can pass those ideas to the owners, to the federal government, or to the Palm Beach County. So I think they will appreciate because it's within our boundaries. So let's just go one by one. What exactly do we want to do with this plan? What do we want to accomplish? So again, it's a long-term strategy. And also, we want to look at, put together a financing plan. If we are thinking that we want to improve X amount of park, where the fundings will be from. So this is the time to look at that. And then this document will guide the village in terms of assessing the needs of the residents, developing a plan, a strategic plan, and mainly for budgeting a long-term improvements. So basically, this master plan will be a roadmap that will take us there, that will allow us to reach our vision. What are the benefits of having a master plan? So it's basically, we can all have visions. However, we need to convert those visions into reality. We need a roadmap, we need a financial plan, how to improve our parks. So basically, also we'll promote and maintain our facilities. And it's very important that we need to do all this improvement in a financially feasible way and environmentally sound. As we look at those photos, there are a lot of nature. We are surrounded by nature. We are surrounded by water. So we need to protect our natural resources. And this park will allow us that. What are the key elements of this plan? I don't know if you have read, we have a comprehensive plan that has a specific chapter that is with regard to parks and open space. It was adopted, it was reviewed by the state of Florida and was adopted by council in 2018. So that comprehensive plan is like a big umbrella, has big ideas and big visions. So this specific master plan will allow us to basically put together a strategic, how can we reach those specific goals and how can we reach the vision of each of you. So again, I said, we cannot sit in our office and prepare a plan. We must not do that. That will not be very smart, I would say, number one, and it will not be a meaningful process. So we design a public outreach process. And those are the keywords. This process will be inclusive because we are going to make it fun. There will be many activities. Look at this table. We have more than 10 events where you can participate. We will be there with our boards. We will provide you the survey. It's coming. It's just there. So, and so there are a lot of opportunities to participate. Also, we will aim engaging all ages, children, all of us. So inform the community about the parks. It's important because we don't know if everybody is aware of the, for example, the linear park, you know. So we are going to listen to all of you, and this listening process, this is a big listening tour basically, but this listening process will be the foundation for that specific plan, for that feasible plan. I love this graphic. Why I like this graphic? Because it's at the center the community participation and vision. So that is the centerpiece of this plan. And the plan will review the existing conditions. We cannot make a plan if we don't know exactly the existing conditions of Tequesta Park or Remembrance Park or the other parks. So we need to do like an X-ray of the existing condition. Then obviously we will analyze and see the preferences of, based on the surveys and based on this listening tour, and develop a plan with priorities, and then finally we will adopt and implement this plan. So this public participation, I call it 4Ps because it's proactive public participation program. So there are a number of events, and I will go through one by one so you will see where, according to your schedule and calendar, how can you participate. So the first one, yay, we are here, is the Kickoff Event. So we made it. Then these are the number of events. Please check often the village website. We will be posting there our advance. Also, we are working with, there will be some messages on the water bill that you will be receiving in November. So we are working diligently with that. In social media, of course, there will be meetings with HOAs, an article in the November, smoke signals, and we also have posters which we will provide to each of you, and we will also put it around on local businesses. So again, listening to the community is paramount. So we have surveys, interviews 101, kiosks, and also our important village boards, the Planning and Zoning Board and the Environmental Committee Board. So with regard to surveys, there will be a survey online on the website. And I also have the surveys for you. The hard copies are here. I will provide you. And we designed this beautiful poster that has a QR code that you can scan with your phone and go directly to the monkey survey, and you can answer directly. So we have all type of surveys that we will provide you tonight. They are ready. I'm just hiding them a little bit. 1 second. So let me just, if you decide to fill out the paper survey, there will be a box here at Village Hall where you can just bring and deliver those surveys. I think I'm going on the other side. Interviews. We would like to sit down with, if you are interested in being interviewed, we would like to sit down with residents, with board members, one-on-one, and listen your input. So that will be a one-on-one interview, and that part of that will be the village manager. So it will be me, Lance, smile, Lance, and the village manager, and we would love to meet with one of you. each of you, if you are interested in participating on that interview, please let me know. We are actively putting names, so please let me know. So residents, elected officials, we also will interview the Jupiter Tequesta Athletic Association representative, and we work very close with village staff. So Doug, be ready. Kiosk. These kiosks are very important, and they will start actually this Friday. The first kiosk will be at the Halloween at Constitution Park. Basically, we will have a table with the boards there, and we will have more surveys, paper copies, and also the flyer. And we will just be there connecting and answering questions to all the residents interested. So we will be, also this Saturday, there is a shared event here, and Coffee with a Cup, we also will be here. And the Chili Cook-Off is November 13, and there is a fall festival, which is the previous Tequesta Fest on November 19 and 20. So this is, and there will be amply open house also on October 25th in Constitution Park. So there's a number of events which are all here, and they will be posted in the website. There's more than 10 events where you can please stop by and be part of it. As I mentioned before, participating on public workshops with the boards is very important. So we will be conducting a public workshop with the Environmental Committee. I spoke with Mr. Bradford today, and he said, okay, Nilsa. So it will be November 10th, and the Planning and Zoning Board also will be in November. I really want to take a moment here to talk about this design workshop. The design workshop will be, and I truly hope you can attend. It's a Saturday, October 23rd, from 9 a.m. to 12. So we are going just to meet at Tequesta Park. We want to walk around a little bit at Tequesta Park and look at the existing conditions, and then we will break down into groups, and we will do a conceptual design of Tequesta Parks and Remembrance Park. And we want to listen, what ideas do you have to improve Tequesta Park? What other things do you see happening in Tequesta Park? So it will be a very enriching public participation process. And also, we are going to have a table for the activity for the kids, because if we think carefully, who really use the parks? The kids, our children. They enjoy our park. They are one of our main users. So we want to welcome them to this activity, and so they can draw, they can show us, well, this is what I want, what I need, or I enjoy this. So definitely the children will be a big part of this event, October 23rd. So I just want to also comment, once we gather all this information, we will put together a draft report. And these are the main areas that the draft report will cover. So first of all, it will be with a lot of graphics. We love graphics. I think you have seen it already. So, and there will be, we're going to put together the analysis of the existing conditions. All the results from the survey will be part of this master plan. And then also priorities, recommendation, and most importantly, an action plan, feasibility, and capital improvement. So those are specific components of this draft. Once we have that draft, we are going to conduct a number of public workshops to present this draft to the community. And and to gather inputs before we finalize the document. So as you see there will be workshop with the community. We will take this draft plan again to the boards to present to the Environmental Committee, to the Planning and Zoning Board, and obviously to the Village Council. Once we gather again all the comments based on the draft plan, then we'll put together the final master plan and submit it to the village. And I want to take a moment here. This is a tentative schedule. So we are just task one, initiating the project, then we are going to start advertising events and survey. This was our kickoff. From now on, there will be all kind of information on the website. You are going to take the survey. So this is our big event. Then we will be gathering information and analyzing the existing conditions of the parks. And then obviously, as I mentioned, there will be kiosk and meeting with the village board and design, again, all this process we are envisioning to have 6 months. So the idea is to have a final plan by the end of March. So, and it's a tentative schedule. If we realize that we need more input or we need to spend more time on the draft, we will do so. So, but we have to start with a tentative schedule. It's easier to change once you have something, So this is, you can look at this, and we are going to post it also on the website. And thank you so much. And any questions?
I do.
Yes.
You were talking about the existing analysis of what we have now. Is that available?
Actually, I'm glad, Maria, you asked that, because yes, the comprehensive plan includes a chapter that has already the parks and open space and has a lot of detailed information with regard to the existing parks. But please be aware, this was adopted in 2018. So obviously, we are going to review this, and we will update according to current information. But yes, we are starting from a specific point. Do you want me to email you that chapter?
No, actually, maybe I did make myself clear. What I'm asking is there analysis of each park today, of the condition of that park today? So we have pictures, but what I'm looking for is we have a ball field. What's the condition of it today? That's where...
That will be exactly, that's a great question, because that is part of this process. We need to x-ray each park, and specifically, for example, if there are safety concerns about some of the parks, which are they? What are we talking about? Do we have are our parks in compliance with ADA parking? I don't know that, So that's the beauty of this study, which we will have at the end of this, a specific existing condition analysis.
So I guess the answer is no, we don't have one today.
No, we don't have it today, and that is part of this process.
Thank you.
We do have some information, yeah, but we don't have what you are referring to.
Right. Thank you.
Please.
Mr. Bradford, a question?
I understood what you said. I think I know the process, so I don't really have any questions.
I'm standing here, sir.
I'd like to volunteer for the interview. I'm very interested in that.
Oh, wonderful. We will, please, if you can give your name to Gina or Lance and your phone number, so we will contact you. Who else would like to be interviewed, or, that's, yeah. We are just really excited to start this process, So I want to give you right now the flyers. Can you help me, Lance, please? So, and also, Gina, if you can help me with the surveys. Yeah, you can take it home. Yes, take it home. We'll put a box here. So. Yes, please. Okay. I love Colorado. Please attend these meetings, because we need your input. I mean, trees are important to you because allow you to walk. We need canopies. We are in Florida, so that will be important.
I remember the trees. This is here,
Yes.
and is it editable?
Excuse me?
Can it be edited, so whatever's here?
Yeah, you can just scan that, and we'll take you directly to the survey, and you can just answer there.
Okay, so it's editable.
Yes, it's it. You can respond right there.
Yeah, okay. That'll be easier for you to read.
Yes?
Yeah, I did think of a question.
Okay.
So, let's use Tequesta Park as an example. That park is maintained by the village of Tequesta. So I think and it comes out of our budget. So I think it would be important for us and you folks that are overseeing all this to be able to delineate clearly whether a survey respondent is a bona fide resident of the village of Tequesta as opposed to a non-resident, because it's really our tax dollars that are being spent here, and not someone from Martin County, not someone from unincorporated Palm Beach or the town of Jupiter. It's Tequesta dollars. So is there a way to clearly delineate that?
That's a great question, Mr. Bradford, because that is question number one. You have it in front of you. Are you a Village of Tequesta resident? And there is a clarification. A resident is defined as person who reside within the boundaries of the Village of Tequesta, who pay taxes to the village and has the ability to vote in the municipal elections. So that's is very important. But also, question number two, provide your zip code. So also. I know. Because it's all these areas, 334.
But I believe maybe I'm wrong that some of Martin County is 33469.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
so-
You are correct too.
Yes.
So that's the reason question number one is very important.
I don't think a lot of people know where they live and what they're paying on taxes, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I'd rather have their address.
yes.
I don't know how you would delineate that, but their address is more of a telltale.
If we ask them their address, people such as myself or the village staff would be able to say, oh, that's in unincorporated Palm Beach County.
Yes, we thought about putting the asking address, but we also are hoping that a lot of people will participate, and we know some community members might not want to put their personal address. So we are trying to, that's the reason we put the question number one.
So when we did the recreation center, we did ask for people's addresses, so that we could validate whether they were in fact residents or not. We did not find that impeded people who were not residents but lived in the area that were, that kind of thought of themselves as Tequesta, even though they didn't live within those municipal boundaries, and hesitated to answer. And this part, while Mr. Bradford's right, we do maintain it, it is considered a kind of regional park. So I think we do want to be able to validate who is a Tequesta resident, but I think we also do want to get a little bit of input from the non-residents as well that are in this immediate vicinity.
That was the thought process, and that's the reason, please see here in bold. We encourage all Village of Tequesta and surrounding area residents to participate, So if they would like to answer this, why not? Yes, Mark?
Yeah, so I think that's the wrong clarity, because all of the cost is going to be assumed over time by the residents of the village. So the right way to do this, if this is being represented by the council, who are supposed to represent the taxpayers, the voters of the village, is to be sure that you're getting input from the residents of the village who vote and pay taxes for these benefits.
We are truly hoping that people will, number one, will be specific. So it's basically, are you a village resident, yes or not, you know? So anyway, if we ask the address, we could ask the address, but we thought about it, and there was concerns with in terms of, you know, privacy and giving addresses and specific questions, you know. Most of the time, very successful surveys are anonymous, you know, because that's...
I understand your point that you're trying to make with getting additional information from other people, and I think that's a valid point. And maybe to address both issues, we can have the addresses optional there, and just have what you have, and in addition have the address. That way, it kind of answers both issues in terms of if somebody wasn't going to give information, it answers your question, but at the same time, for me, I would not be hesitant to write my address.
So actually, I don't think it answers the question, because the whole point of the survey is to try to determine what is the will of the residents of the village, and you need to be able to authenticate the results. And this survey will not allow it's not authenticate, so not something you can authenticate. So you're going to be able to produce any result you want with this. This will give numbers that any preconceived plan you'll be able to find support in this kind of response. There's no way to authenticate, and with a bunch of numbers, anybody with lots of different viewpoints on what should happen could be able to say, well, this is what people say. And you hear this all the time with surveys like this. Another person who wants something completely different will say, no, this is what the numbers show. And so the point is that the purpose is to determine the will of the community, and you're not going to do that with this kind of survey.
When we did the recreation center, we did specifically ask for addresses.
So for example, there was a question in the rec center. It was asking, do you want pickleball courts? 76% of the people said no. 46 people said yes, and more people ignored the question. So I think there were 151 people who said no, and we still have pickleball courts there. We have pickleball courts in Constitution Park, and they're building pickleball courts now in Tequesta Parks. So this is an example of how, with a survey, you can achieve whatever effect you want with the numbers. And so it's not a way to produce a thoughtful, deliberate decision on what serves the interests of the residents of the village, which should be the focus of this process.
We definitely can look at this and evaluate again, because we truly thought about it, putting or not the address, and we were excruciating and said, some people might not want to answer because they're going to be the address. There are a lot of people that are very protective of their, and for a reason, you know. What do you think?
Well, no, I had to put my address to get in this room.
Yes, but that was just in general, you know. I don't know your specifics, you know, opinions and.
Because I don't think people that actually fill out surveys are really caring about their address.
Okay.
The people that care about their address don't fill out the surveys. I mean, that's typically.
We will consider, please.
I have a question. Who's going to see these? I mean, can't you say that these are going to be seen only by, you know, whatever department in the village of Tequesta, so that people shouldn't be worried about their address being?
Yeah, definitely. I will be seeing it. I don't know if you trust me or not, so I will be.
But I mean, that would make people feel uncomfortable.
You know, but let me just mention, all the business of the village is public. It's public information. So anybody can do a public record request, and we need to produce this, which will have your address. And yes, so that's the part that we were very concerned about it. You know, putting, yes, Maria?
I do have another question for you. Is there some kind of a methodology so that I can't fill out 30 surveys?
Yes. Lance?
We have it set up so it's based on.
Can you remove your mask?
We have it set up so it's set up if you live in a particular home
your IP address, you're only allowed to do one survey for that household. So that's how it's set. You can't do multiple surveys of the same thing. That's how we kind of delineated it, if that makes sense.
So if they're doing it online,
Correct.
that's your security.
Correct.
So if you do it on paper, that's why, again, when we did the recreation center, we had addresses to ensure that we weren't seeing
Duplicates.
Aside from the comments that already been made about ensuring we're getting resident responses, that also was another check to make sure we weren't getting duplicates.
So let me ask you something, we are a number of here. How many, please raise your hand if you feel comfortable putting your address and being this, Mark, do you feel comfortable putting your address?
You know, I feel comfortable. I don't think the survey is really a good way to go about this, but if you're going to do a survey, I think it has to be something that you can authenticate, because there are all kinds of outside interests that have a vested financial interest in influencing this outcome in a way that is not serving the health of this village.
Okay, so
Including
basically,
financial.
most of you feel comfortable putting your address. Well, that made me feel better, because I was thinking it's a very important privacy matter. So we will definitely consider that. You know, today is, like I said, it's our kickoff meeting, and then we can easily modify these once we, yes?
So I assume that you can have multiple surveys come back to you with the same address. It would be allowed, is that correct?
No, we just answered that.
But if there's more than one, if there's more than one
I have 5
adult, if
computers.
there's more than one adult at the address, isn't each adult allowed their own opinions?
Yes, of course, we are looking forward, yes.
So then
Yes.
I guess I go back to my question.
Yes.
I'm assuming that you can have multiple surveys with the same address.
Yes, you can, definitely.
So how would you be able to tell if that was okay, or if that was a fraud, or
Do you
that's...
want me to put the name and social security number? I don't think so.
So, well, no, but so it raises the issue, right? Like, how are you authenticating the results?
Well, that's part of being a survey, and putting these, and it's a part of trusting each other. I mean, trust is a building block of every community,
Yeah, I
So
think
if you trust to put your address, I think that's important.
Is there, I think it's a valid question, to ask, is there a limit per household, how many surveys? Now, we're assuming tons of people are gonna wanna even respond.
I
Okay,
know.
that's
Please.
a huge assumption. I cannot believe how few people are here. Okay, but that's a whole other, it's a whole other discussion. But it's a valid point to say, how many numbers from a household are gonna be allowed? I think the address I think is one.
It shouldn't be limited.
Yeah,
If
there are 4 or 5 adults in the
If you're
house.
a resident, if you're a resident of the village, I think you have a right to fill out a survey, no matter if there's 5 of you living in one house or one.
Well, like in my HOA, I'm only allowed 1 vote, right? And so for a lot of different things, we're only allowed 1 vote. So to me, this is kind of our vote, our say. I'm not saying we shouldn't have more people allowed, but it's a valid point to bring it up.
Because I know that the way I would fill out the survey, and the way my husband would fill out the survey would be years and years.
I'd be filling it out for my husband. So
That's
there you
good.
go.
I like Pat, please.
Yes, I see kind of 2 separate things really that are going to come out of this. On the one hand, you want to hear from all users. What would you like to see in these parks? What do you envision? What does your family enjoy doing, right? That's one issue. The offshoot of that is going to be, depending on what feedback you get, what can the village afford? And I just want to be certain that somewhere in all this whole process, it's made very clear to the residents, because this wish list is compiled, it does not mean the village can budget for all of this. It's clear from the beginning, okay, that this is a method of gathering your wishes, but that doesn't mean this whole wish list is coming.
True.
No, not at all, and that's the reason we will have one of the most important chapters is the feasibility and the capital improvement. So this needs, we start with a big umbrella, and then we need to land. Very land. 1 + 1, 2 is at the end. I think the most important chapter, Mr. Allen will be instrumental on the, putting together all the capital improvement in how many years, because we also, this is a long-term strategy, so it will be 5, 10, 15 years. So, but it will allow us a roadmap. That's the beauty of having this master plan.
Kind of following up on that question, are we gonna have, so this is great, survey, you get some ideas, you get information. At some point, and that's kind of what I was asking about that, what's our existing situation? So let's say our existing situation is that our parks are at 50% capacity. I mean, in other words, we're so underfunded, but we're spending, let's say, I'm gonna make this up, $100,000 for all of our parks. And it's only getting us 50% of even maintaining. I'm not even talking improvements, I'm just saying maintenance. If we as a society need to, at some point, weigh what do we want, what would be nice, what would be lovely, with what are we getting today, and then the other part is, can we afford to do more than we are? Because all of this is just as good as, is there money in my pocket to pay for it?
That's exactly the point, and I want you to put, I don't know where is my clicker, I want you, because on the draft master plan, there will be a chapter that says exactly the financially feasible, so that's the important part, because we might be able to look for grants, apply for grants, apply for other methods, to provide for that. But I think it's really important, every agency that provide grants, what is the most important document that they look? The community input. How does the community feels about this? So it's very hard to even apply for grants if we don't do this public outreach.
It's the due diligence, no question.
Yes.
But hand in hand, to give your community some kind of relaxation on the subject, we really do need to have more information about what are we actually spending and what level of service is that giving us? What level of service? So is it giving us 50% level of service? Is it giving us 75% at the level that we're supposed to have?
I think that chapter, like I said, if the identified priorities and action plan feasibility and capital improvement, that chapter, that's where we will have all the numbers. We say, well, we are spending $100,000 to maintain Park A, Park B, Park C. Is this enough? What do we need? And how are we going to get there? Do we need, maybe we need to really start applying to more grants. We need to, through the year, or, that would be another mechanism.
So I, as a resident, can contact the city manager, and I have, and he's provided me with financials. It's available if we want it. All I'm saying is, perhaps that might be one of the parts of the equation that we want to provide in conjunction with this. What are we spending today? And as you shared, what are some options to be able to, match or do whatever? And again, remember those grants are there. That's a wish list too. So it doesn't mean that we're going to get that.
You're saying you think that all of that should be in this initial survey?
I'm saying that at some point,
Yeah, at
some point, we need to have that, and I don't mean at the end.
Yeah.
I mean now.
Yeah.
So I'm not even saying that the survey is the same as the financial information. I'm saying we need both.
Right.
I believe that is possible because we have a number of events and open houses. So as we start today, is our first day. As we start this, the team, we start looking at those numbers, and we might be able to provide it for the open house on October 25th or the open house on November 6th. So as we go through this number of events, I think that information should be available.
And it could be just put into the newsletter as to, here's how, I mean, it doesn't even have to be a meeting, it could be as easy as posting. I mean, I can call, but do you really want all these calls from all these people? So that's my point. And it's public information. It's public information anyway. And I think that at least we need to understand what our purse is right now.
I think we are writing it now, and we can post that information on the park's master plan website, which is on the village website.
Okay.
That's a great, yes.
So, you can go to the village's website right now and pull up the entire budget document.
And nobody does.
It's right there.
I understand.
Like, you know, broken out line
Yes.
by line. It's there. I think, Nielsen, you did a great job. What she's trying to achieve here is just a survey. And just to get input. That survey may not ever go anywhere, like you said, but it's a working document for officials to work on. You know, the wish list is gonna be a wish list, right? So I think with a survey, it just gives you kind of even with the rec center, we did surveys. There was things in that survey that we would have loved to do, but we just couldn't.
Right.
You know, we had to work within our means, and I think the survey will give you that working document.
It's a framework
Yeah.
where we put our heart on it, you know, so it's a starting point. And then because the wish list will touch reality, and that's when we are talking, you know. So once we put the financial, the feasibility, and capital improvement, we need to start with your vision and your input. For example, I heard many people like community gardens, so that's a great idea. But the point is, who's gonna take care of the community gardens? You know, in fact, I contacted other municipalities to see how do they do it. So anyway, there is a lot of effort in those community gardens. It's not that simple, but again, we would like to know if most of the residents love the idea of a community garden, so we can start thinking about it and what are the implications and the impact of a community garden.
No, I think this is a very positive thing for the village of Tequesta to do.
Thank you, Maria. We are on it, our heart is on it, and again, this is a starting point that we can easily improve. So anyway, but we truly need this discussion and your input so we can get there, you know.
The HOAs, do you have a list of the HOAs?
We have contacted them. The only one that has, right now we have confirmed is the meeting with the Tequesta Parks HOA is Wednesday, October 27th. If your HOA would like to
I'll
meet,
contact our HOA.
please.
So with
We're on county line.
So with the homeowners, a lot of them are doing Zoom still. So they're not meeting in groups. The only one that responded to us was the Pines.
Well, one way or another, we'll get together.
Well, you let me know, please, you know, so.
Yeah.
We would love to talk one-on-one with as many people as possible, but we need to be cautious. We are
I'm just
still
curious, what's
COVID
the
time.
Casa del Sol, we're right on County Line Road.
Gotcha.
So there's 41 homes there. And the reason I said earlier that some people don't know where they live is we have another development right next door. And I was told that that was not Village of Tequesta, and then somebody said, no, it was, it went through the process with Village of, and then right next door to us, so,
Bella Bellagio,
yeah,
yes, they are in the village of Tequesta, they were.
the residents don't know that.
Oh, they were annexed long time ago before they started.
I'm just saying, they're my neighbors, I know they don't know.
Yeah, I live there, so
I know you do.
Most of them, at this point, I live in there actually, but I'm not saying everyone.
Yeah,
But you know, it's funny, for 20 years, I've been actually trying to explain to people, you're not a resident, or you are a resident.
right,
And
because
to
people don't
this day-
realize.
To this day, I still have to explain to people.
Of course you do.
If you're a resident or not, which is very interesting conversations at times.
I thought,
So-
when I moved to Tequesta 3.5 years ago, thought anybody with Tequesta was Village of Tequesta. it was amazing to me from being on the EAC that half of the people living in Tequesta aren't part of the village of Tequesta. So that to me is amazing.
That's a whole other issue, and that's annexation.
Yeah.
You're right, that's a whole other challenge.
And they think they are.
You're right, and that's where Greg is saying, some of those conversations he's had to have through the years.
Yep.
And, you know, it's hard when the family walks up and they have children, and I try to explain to them that they're not a resident and have to turn them away.
Right.
It's very difficult.
Right.
Very difficult.
So I hope to see you all around on the different events. This Friday, Halloween, Greg, I'll be there. Should I dress up?
Yes.
As a planner, as an urban planner.
Why don't you wear the horn, the devil?
Ah, the devil.
Yeah.
I will be there. Come with me. Thank you so much.